Alright, in this video I'm going to be showing how to install your electronics into the P-40, and one of the main electronics I'm going to be showing is the AR500, which I had to modify to fit in because it would not fit where the AR6110e fits, which is the receiver that they have this plane made for. So let me go to the bottom of the plane first. Now, how they have it set up, let me show you on the instruction manual. They have it set up where the ESC is right there, and as you can see those pins sticking out right in the bottom here, that's the AR6110e receiver, where the pins are on the side, and then the ESC is right above it. So in mine it's similar, but not quite at all. Just the ESC is similar. I have the ESC placed right where the ESC was in the other one basically, and they had the receiver in this hole. My AR500 would fit almost nowhere in the bottom of here without touching these aileron linkages, because that's where the ailerons go. You connect this to here. So I was having trouble fitting my AR500 in. So I decided to go from the top. And let me show you here what I ended up with. Where is my... I lost it. I had a little piece of styrofoam to show. Here it is. So okay, it's a little wiry here. But first let me just show, as you see the AR500 is here. Now it's a 3-channel. Now there's only 2 channels plugged in because my ailerons I don't have plugged in. If they were connected to the bottom of the plane I wouldn't have been able to turn it over and show you inside. So that's why they're not plugged in. I've got my S60 servos, my elevator servo, and my aileron servo. But like I said, the AR500 is what I'm focusing on here. The AR500 wouldn't fit in the bottom like I said, and it wouldn't fit in the top canopy either. So I had to kind of put it halfway in each. So I cut out a foam piece from right underneath the canopy here, right in the center, and then the AR500 is halfway pushed through. And as you can see I cut a little bit on the side here. That's for the antenna, so it doesn't get hurt. You know, I cut a little hole so the antenna had a place. The antenna over here I just got sticking, the little antenna. The big antenna I brought in, and then it's taped. It comes in there, up along here, and then it goes back and it's taped, so it can't get in the way of this servo. Okay, the battery fits in the battery compartment perfectly. I could slide it in and out. Here's the battery plug from the ESC. I know my tape job doesn't look pretty. It's really not that much tape. It's just 2 pieces. It's just taped in there. And then, if you put your AR500 here, the last modification you need to do is, let me get this wire out of the way, and this wire. The last thing you're going to have to do is modify, when I plug these wires in, they're not in the way like they are right now. Got to get them out of the way so I can put on the lid. Okay. The lid had a flat bottom. There was no way all this junk that's sticking up out of the plane would have fit. So I simply cut a hole in the black bottom just like I did in the plane. So that's what it looks like from the top. It doesn't affect the look on the outside at all. Just a hole in the bottom. And then I'm able to put on the hatch. Now I might have to work around these wires a little bit more because I do have more wires coming in than I had a second ago. Give me 1 second here. Oops. I'm having trouble because this battery wire, I haven't actually modified it or looked at doing it with the battery in. Give me 1 second to pull out the battery. It's not a problem, it's just I didn't have the battery plugged in, so the wires were just kind of everywhere. It will fit, you'll see here. I just got to do a little bit more modding so that battery will fit, but here we go. All I did was take out the battery really quick so you could see how this works. Fits on just like normal, and the wires are just up in it, but it mounts on just fine. Like I said, I was having a little problem you saw with the battery in there. It wasn't the battery itself. was the battery wires. So once the battery's plugged in, I'm going to have to, I'll just have to mess with it a little more. And I'm sure anyone else can figure out how to do this too. I need to cut a little bit bigger hole out of the back right here so that these wires that come up the back don't stop it from going down. That's where I'm getting a little bit of pushing up. So all I need to do is cut a little piece out. And actually, let me just do that. See if that'll help it here. So we have this, and I'm just going to carefully try to cut out a little bit more of the back here. Sorry, it's hard to cut and keep it on camera sometimes. Alright, so I cut out a notch. Doesn't look pretty, but it's a notch as you see in the back there. So let's see if that helped. It's these back wires that were getting in the way a little bit. There we go. Now it fit on real nice. It's snug. It never looked perfectly snug. It always kind of felt like that, but it's hard to grab this. I could pick the whole plane up by this and it wouldn't fall off probably. Well, there it did. But it's pretty strong. It's lifting up the plane. It's on there just how it should be. So that's somewhere that you can put your AR500 if you bought an AR500 to use with this plane. Modify it and put it in there. The only other place that it was possible to put it would have been like on the side back in the tail. Anywhere up in the fuselage wouldn't work because of these ailerons that are in there. So it really won't fit anywhere inside of here. That was pretty much the only place I could get it. So a little bit more modification needed so I can get that hatch to go on with the battery in. And it's not the battery, it's the wires that were sticking up causing it to not fit right. But it's perfect right now. Just got to make sure I can get it with the battery in. Actually, since it's fitting so perfectly now, let me try throwing the battery in again. It's just these wires sticking up that's the problem. So let me pretend, actually let me just plug it in. Turn on my receiver here. Now this battery's low, but it should still power it a little bit. Alright, let's see now if I can get this on. Oops. Maybe if I push these wires up inside of it. Just getting caught on something. Maybe I need to remove a little bit more of this. I think I need to remove a little bit more of this. I'm going to do it off camera here. It's hard to do it holding it down there. Just take me a second. This might do it. Alright, I removed a little bit more of the underneath black. There we go. Perfect. Just needed to get a little bit more of that underneath black off. So all the wiring's up in there, and it's perfect. I took off a little bit of the front and the back. That's what helped it, because the wires in the front and back were catching it. So just get it over the wires. Perfect. Fits on there just perfectly snug as it did when it first came. Perfect. So I don't have the ailerons plugged in, but I can just show you really quick the rudder, the elevator, since it is plugged in. Haven't tried it yet myself. I just set up the hardware. Good. Just trimming it a little bit. It looked a little bit downward. Might hardware trim it a little bit, but it's working great. I'm running out of time. Ailerons work great too. Everything works great, but I really just wanted to show you guys that AR500, setting it up in the top, and we got it to fit right there. So if you're getting that receiver, there's a good way to put it in.